He was the king of the swashbuckler, an agile physical performer whose stunt work and energy captured the spirit of early cinematic adventure. Today, on Journey Through Cinema, we are going to be looking back at the first big three actors of the 1910s, starting with Douglas Fairbanks. Douglas Elton Thomas Ullman, later known as Douglas Fairbanks, was the fourth son of a Jewish family who was expelled from high school at the age of 15 for cutting the high school's piano wires. He would join the acting troupe of Frederick Ward, which traveled across the entire country, and he did this for about 2 tours before ending up in New York and acting Broadway shows, between his job as a hardware store clerk. He would later marry the daughter of a wealthy industrialist before moving out to Los Angeles in 1915. The dream of, all artists. In fresh-faced Hollywood, Fairbanks would contract with Triangle Pictures and begin work with D.W. Griffith. His first picture was The Lamb, and this was really the first time, too, he got to show off his athletic abilities. Feeling underappreciated by Griffith, Fairbanks would instead repeatedly team with director John Emerson, who was responsible for many of his early successes. Now, in 1917, he would hitch his train to the 2 biggest stars at the time, Charlie Chaplin and Mary Pickford. He joined them on a tour to sell World War I war bonds across the entire country, and by the following year, he would surpass them and become the highest-paid actor in the world. But what made him so popular? He was hardly the most handsome of actors, even by 1910 standards. I don't know, maybe that was just my opinion, but he kind of looked like a goofy dude, right? I don't know. But anyways, today we will be looking at Wild and Woolly, a demonstration of his fast rise in popularity and a microcosm of his appeal to 1910 audiences. The movie follows lovable buffoon Jeff Hellington, a fanboy of romanticized westerns. He gets the chance to live out his fantasy when his father sends him out to Arizona to secure a business deal. But the West has changed a lot since the world of the 1800s. It is no longer the rough-and-tumble place depicted in books and movies. Now, when Jeff's hosts learn about his cluelessness, they plot to get into his good favor by giving him the full Western experience, just by faking all the cliches that Jeff has read about, such as train robberies, folk dances, fights with Indians, horseback rides into the sunset, just everything you have read about in the classic Western. Unfortunately, there's also a group of government crooks that plan to take advantage of this scheme for their own gain. As you may have noticed, this has a lot of similarities to another film we covered on this channel, The Squaw Man from Cecil DeMille. Both films tell the story of a fish-out-of-water city slicker making his way west into harder country. The big difference here is Wild and Woolly plays it more for laughs. It's not taking anything seriously. It has the kind of silliness of The Emperor's New Clothes, with Jeff, for the most of the movie, thinking himself a cool, stranger comes to town cowboy. Well, really, he's just making a fool of himself. The humor also kind of works well because the idea of an entire town deciding to troll just one guy is ridiculous enough to be pretty funny. The amount of coordination that would have to happen to make this, thing actually work is unbelievable, but it seems the makers of the movie did that intentionally to kind of heighten the absurd comedy. And the film does do a good job of mixing this adventure and comedy. It starts with some genuinely cringy scenes of Jeff meeting the businessman from Arizona and making a complete mockery of himself by trying to show off how much he knows about their culture, so to speak. He tries to give them a bunch of booze and stuff and drink it old-fashioned Western style, and he needs to show off his guns and all this kind of stuff. And there's other examples, too, of how the comedy still clicks today, like when everyone in a dance hall just wildly starts shooting their guns in an enclosed space in celebration, or when the town is desperately trying to get the real bullets out of Jeff's gun before he, kills someone. And Fairbanks has his usual impressive physicality, with him springing onto horse saddles, hanging from beams to kicking ceilings, and playing with lassos like a kid discovering a new toy. He seems to be really getting a kick out of playing this character and dipping his toes into this Western world, sometimes to great over-the-top effect. And his goofy character is the right mix of lovable idiot and action star, which is what he needs to be for this role. And there are some troublesome elements to the film as well. At only an hour and a half, the film feels rushed by modern standards. The first 2 acts work pretty well, but the third act's pacing's just everything gets resolved very fast and very neatly. Also, as is often the case with movies of this time, the Native Americans are depicted predictably really racist. And this is made even worse by the fact that by the time the real bullets start flying, most of the dead are the natives. This was supposed to be reflective of the common cowboy versus Indian trope in Westerns, but it was more distasteful considering all of them were bamboozled into it before being killed and then rounded up like cattle. It is pretty off-putting. And the romance is also pretty weak sauce. The love interest, Nell, played by Elaine Percy, on the surface she seems like this innocent damsel in distress, and the film really wants you to think of her as one, but when you really look at what happens, she is more like the evil harpy of the story, who is largely responsible for the cruelty to Jeff at the beginning and the massive death toll near the end. She is the one who convinces everyone in the town into creating this hoax in the first place, and she often takes part in the cruelty of making Jeff out as a complete fool. The film did not do enough to just paper over this initial meanness and make any kind of romance believable or even tasteful. So we are going to get into some spoiler territory here. If you'd like to check out this film yourself first, it is public domain, and I will link it below. Feel free to watch it and come back if you want. So with that out of the way, the ending of the movie sees the crooks that are attempting to rob the city. Their plan just goes completely wrong, and they end up having to kidnap Nell. Fairbanks' Jeff is then forced to ride in to the rescue, showing that although he may have been easily tricked by the townsfolk, he actually does have some self-taught skills of a gunslinging hero. He does save Nell, and he forgives the town for their deception before riding a train off into the sunset. It's good. It's nice, classic Western imagery. And it should have ended there, because then there's a fade out, and it goes to the real ending, which is this flash forward where Jeff is marrying Nell. And, just kind of get out of there with that. I mean, she is responsible for so many people dying and just kind of being just nasty to Jeff for most of the movie. It's pretty tacky given what's happened, and the romance is so ill-formed that it just doesn't work for me. So Wild and Woolly is far from a perfect film, but it is a perfect showcase of what caused Douglas Fairbanks to become one of the biggest stars of his day. The movie around him has flaws, but Fairbanks shows off his skills as an offbeat comedian mixed with his charm, romanticism, and of course a little personal stunt work. But most of all, there was this energy to him that showed that he was really having fun doing all this. He really enjoyed the lasso work and horse riding and gunslinging. He made for a great lead because in these adventures, you could really see that he was having as much fun as the audience was. And I guess that's all I have for Wild and Woolly. Let me know your own personal thoughts in the comments down below. Like and subscribe, and until next time, keep those reels turning. Thank you.